Hello everyone and welcome back to Sarah's Stitch. This is episode 47. Really need to start looking at these things before I film them, but welcome. This is my knitting podcast where I'm going to talk to you all about my makes, projects, acquisitions, stash, plans, all of that fun stuff. And I'm somewhat prepared today, but I have my notes right here. And I have finished a couple things, started some new things, have some plans in my head, some yarn is coming to me. So I figured I would have a little sit down chat with you all and go through it since it is Martin Luther King Day here in the United States. So I have the day off and it's already the late afternoon. So while I still have the natural light, I figured I would film a podcast. If you are new here and would like to like or subscribe to this video, it would be great so we can expand our little community we have here of everyone listening to my show and tell and giving me opinions and all of that fun stuff. If you are new, quick high level, my name is Sarah. I am 30 years old. I'm a knitter. I live in Hoboken, New Jersey, which is right across the river from New York, which is where I work as an accountant 9 to 5, except during busy season, which is now. And all other times of the day, I'm either knitting or crocheting. I do crochet. I did crochet first originally, like that's the initial fiber art that I learned, but I'm primarily a knitter now. I've been knitting and crocheting since I was 7, 8 years old, and then crocheted all through high school, college, all of that, and then during the pandemic restarted knitting. So here we are. Quick overview. I don't think I've said, but anything I mentioned today will be linked down below. So my Ravelry, Instagram, local yarn shops, projects, all of that should be linked down below. Knit note. If you have any questions or if my Ravelry doesn't have it, then please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. So without further ado, let's get started with finished objects. Since I'm not wearing anything hand knit today, I just have on a black store-bought sweater that is not getting stained from the tiger balm I have on my back at the moment. So let's get started with my finished object. I only have one today, but it is a very exciting one. So if you've been around for a while, you would have seen this. It hasn't had a spotlight. It hasn't been featured very recently because it's been for a while and it's just been existing. So this is my finished Monday sweater. This is by Petite Knit. I knit the size small, and I knit it out of woolberry fiber in the berry cashmere, I think, the sock weight, and then berry surrey. And the cashmere was in the color, why am I struggling? I'll just use my notes. I have my knitting notebook. This is by Making Treasures. I got it last year, the year before, the Maker's Notebook. It's the green one. And I do actually have notes in this, so let me use them. So we have, all right, woolberry, berry cashmere in the color Festive, and then berry surrey in the color Holiday Cocktail. The berry Festive was a tonal color, and then so the cashmere fingering was a tonal, and then the surrey was a speckled that was a coordinating red. It was from, I think it's from 2021, the woolberry, she did like a mystery but vibe inspired box, winter box, and there was a blue option, a green option, a red, or a cream. I got a red and a cream. The cream has yet to be made into anything, but this was what the red turned into. And like I said, Monday sweater. Apparently, I've talked about this, I think, recently on the podcast. When I was buying yarn in 2021, 2022, I forgot that I know how to do math. and then I can do math, and I just did not do math. So I ran out of Surrey for this. I think you can see on camera. It's not as obvious in person, but also I don't care because I'm happy that this project's done. I ran out of Surrey from Bethany here, which is so sad, but I got some replacement Surrey. It's not Wilberry, it's Lang, but I think it's like an okay-ish color match in terms of the actual colors that it gave. Obviously the Wilberry is a bit more variegated, but I tried to get, I did get a skein from Sorella in the Vino color, which is one of the winter tonals this year, and it was a bit too pink, not berry enough, so I just went with the Lang. I figured it was close enough. I think you can tell, maybe. I did try and, not try, hello, okay. I did helically knit when I was working it in, so that it kind of was a more seamless transition. Like I said, I don't really mind. I did just have it soak for like a long while I was blocking it because the dye was coming off of my hands. So while the dye was coming off of my hands, I figured, oh, I'll just let it all soak in the tub together and maybe the dye will distribute amongst the sweater. I don't know if it did that, but the water is now running clear and I have a finished sweater I can wear tomorrow to work, which is so exciting. I started this in 2022. Yes, confirming, 2022. At Christmas. It was my Christmas cast on that year. And I'm so happy to have it done. And I think I'm not a huge red person because I feel like my hair clashes with a lot of reds. But I do think this red actually looks pretty good on me. So I'm excited to wear it. And it feels like the perfect cozy weight. So that is my only finished object. Next, I have a half-finished object, which is not overly exciting, but for me it's exciting because it's cute. So Shiv, my boyfriend, his uncle, is close in age to him, and he has 3 very adorable little girls that are 3, 6, and 8 years old. We went away with them over Labor Day weekend to Florida. We had a family trip to Florida with them, and they very kindly asked me to crochet them some axolotls, and one wants a dolphin. So I've ordered yarn for that, but I didn't want to just give them that because that's boring. So I decided I was going to make them all some extra little things to go with their individual stuffed animals. So the littlest, she's a pink girly. So I knit a single sock for her, if this will focus. Maybe, yes, okay. So I've knit one sock. I need to knit the second sock, and I think I need to get sock blockers because these look crazy. But this is knit out of a homespun house soft sock. It's a sock set from Molly. It's from last year or the year before last, probably 2024 if I had to guess. It's from the Happy Birthday Hogwarts collection that she did. I think it was 2024. And this was the Happy Birthday Albus colorway. So the main color is this really pretty pink speckle and then a really fun purple which coordinates. And for the sock I cast on 52 stitches. I did about 15 rows for the influencer. Hello? I did 15 rows for the cuff, and then the entirety of the sock is, I think you can see, is 2x2 rib. And then I just did a short row heel, and then my usual wedge toe. I did change up the wedge toe pattern slightly just because I didn't want these socks to get too long for her. She is 3 or 4. she's little. So I wanted them to fit her, but like still be a little bit big, and I think these should work, hopefully. And if not, they're socks. She'll grow into them. I think that's all I had to say about this. The plan is to, oh, just found a drop stitch that I knew I had dropped. Oh, that's really annoying. Please hold. Really explains a lot. All right. So now that I've picked up the drop stitch that I figured I had lost but hadn't realized where I had lost it, I need to make the second one for her and then start on the yarn for her sisters. I will show you that as I cake it up or cast them on. I have the yarns picked out, but I need to figure out my contrast colors, and also they've been in storage for a while in various bins and things, and I saw a bug yesterday, so everything is sitting in the freezer for at least a little bit. So that is my half-finished object, is my cute little baby, not baby, but kid size 2x2 rib sock. And now for works in progress. We have 2 existing works in progress, 1 new one that I cast on last night. So starting with the oldest, because I guess so. We have Shiv's sweater. So I believe I showed this last week. I don't remember where it was last week, but this is what it looks like currently. It does have 1 sleeve done, 2 sleeves done, which I'm very happy about. I'm very happy with myself for doing that. And I am now working on inches and inches and inches and inches of the body. So it is this long at the moment, that you can see. I think I need to do probably like 10 more inches, honestly. I haven't worked on this all weekend, which I do feel slightly guilty about, but in my defense, the Tiger Balm for my back has been turning my hands like a little bit orange, and I don't want it to get on the yarn. So that feels like a solid excuse. Oh, and my lights just turned on. And also, I know it's not gonna be this short of a sweater, but I'm waiting for Shiv to give me a length of a sweater that he would like it to be. So I don't have that at the moment. So therefore, it's just a crop top. But if you're new here, I'm knitting this out of Tin Merino Wool by sarahs. And this is in the color 2321, which I believe is almond. And then the blue, which is this really nice color with contrast, is Baby Oolana, also by sarahs, and it is in the color 6033. And this is just a self-drafted pattern that I'm making for him based off of a sweatshirt he had seen when he Googled men's winter sweater and saw something from Shein and said, I want that, but in cream and blue. And I went, okay, I'll figure out the pattern. So this is what he's getting. It is taking forever because it isn't on 3mm needles, but that is love. So this is going to be my knitting for the early evening. I have a goal of trying to do like 10 rows a day to just keep it moving. I do hope to have it done like in the next 2 weeks because I'd like it to be done and ready for him when I see him the first weekend of February. So hopefully that is the case. Anything else on this? I just did a tubular bind off on the cuffs, and I will do the same on the hem. I think that's all I have to say about it. It's going to be a lot of the same until I'm done with it. But it's going to be amazing when it's done. I will be happy. I think he will be happy with it. And it is such a nice weight sweater, so pat myself on the back ever so slightly. I think I had this cast on last week when I filmed, but this is my Sonia sweater. Oh, I'm sitting on thread. This is my Sonia sweater by Petite Knit. I am knitting this out of Ginger Twist Studio Cumulus Aran in the color Factory Girls. I bought this yarn when my mom, aunt, and I went to Scotland a couple years ago, and we visited the Ginger Twist Studio, and I picked this up. The yarn base is 80% alpaca, 20% silk. And I have learned that as a newer contact wearer, newer being like in the last 2 months, this yarn, fluff comes off of it and it gets in my eyes, and then it's in my contacts, which has been an interesting experience, particularly when I'm winding the yarn. But this is a stunning yarn. So I am also done with both the sleeves. Obviously I have what ends to weave in, and then I am that far on the body. So it's honestly probably about the same length that Shiv's is, but this is knit 4.5 millimeter needles rather than 3. So I just haven't worked on this in the last day or so because I didn't feel like taking up another ball. Hank, it's a game. I didn't feel like winding up another ball of yarn. So I have 2 more skeins left of this yarn. I got 6 originally because I wasn't sure what I wanted to make with it when I had bought it. My 6 will be enough for a sweater. So I do have 2 more. This has taken 4 so far. I don't think I want it, I think I want it a little bit more cropped than full length, because since it is alpaca, I'm pretty sure it's going to grow a lot with wear. Like it didn't grow loads with blocking, because I did in fact make a swatch for this, which I'm very proud of myself for. But it didn't stretch out a ton when I blocked it. However, with the weight of the sweater and just general wear, and I don't tend to wash my sweaters every time I wear them. I don't think anyone does. Maybe that's just me and I'm gross, but I think this is going to stretch out a decent amount as I wear it, and I'm just gonna make it like a respectful crop. Not like too short that like if I raise my arms it'll come up, but I don't need it to be a full length to like my hip sweater, I don't think. So I have a sweater in mind that I have that's store-bought that I'm thinking of taking like the measurements of and then doing the body, the length of that sweater, and then just adding the ribbing. I do need to check the pattern and see how long the ribbing is on the body, because it did call for, let me get this string on if you're gonna be professional. It did call for 10 centimeters or 4 inches of ribbing on the sleeve, but because, I guess because of the yarn, my gauge isn't that far off. With the 4.5 millimeter needle, it does call for a 5. I went down a needle size, but when I tried it on and I was at 3 inches, it was to about here on me, and I know it's gonna grow with blocking, so even if it grows an inch or so, I can still cuff up the ribbing. I only did 3 inches, I think. Yeah, about 3 inches of ribbing on the sleeves. So I probably will do about that on the body as well, or proportionate to whatever. Oh, sorry, I just threw the mic. Proportionate to whatever Petite Knit calls for in the pattern to what the sleeves are. So I think this will be done next week, depending on how much knitting time I have, which is very exciting. The final work in progress I have is a new cast-on that I cast on last night that was much more difficult to cast on than I had initially anticipated, but probably because I cast it on at night and wasn't in the best headspace. But this is the Grandma Core Hood by Kutvakika, or Veronica Lindberg. And I've had my eye on this for a couple years. I did buy yarn specifically to make it, not to make it specifically, but to make a head item, and I couldn't decide what I wanted to do, and I finally decided that this was the project for me and this yarn. Molly from A Homespun House has one in a really pretty sage green that I love, and because Bethany is closing Woolberry and she was posting all the Farewell Woolberry colors the last couple weeks, I remembered I had this yarn and I decided I would cast it on. So this is how far I am, and I am using, if you can't tell or don't know Bethany's colors, this is flannel, which is stunning. It is I have a DK and a Surrey in the color, so you can see how different the color is between just a merino base and a Surrey base, but this is how it's working up together. And I am this far into the hood. It's a nice little bonnet at the moment. I think I need to do 7 full repeats of the pattern, and I'm at about 3. This lace, for some reason, was giving me the hardest time last night. The number of times I had to rip back on, so I don't know if you can see, but so the way that this is constructed is you knit this middle panel, which is like the top of your head, like you knit it about the depth of a head would be, and then you pick up stitches all the way around the rectangle and then start knitting the hood portion, and then it will eventually get joined in the round, I think for a couple repeats, and then there's ribbing around the face with an I-cord. So love it. I can't decide if I like this color on me or not. I don't think it's for me, but like it's fun and cute and a winter accessory, so it's fine. And I'm hoping I have enough yarn for it. The pattern calls for 125 grams of DK weight. I believe she uses double Sunday in the pattern. And this is a 100 gram ball. So we shall see. If I don't have enough yarn, I'll probably just make the I-cord in a different color. This has been really fun. It has been challenging me, which has been like a nice break from the miles of stockinette I'm doing with my other 2 projects. And it's supposed to be like 20 something highs this week. So I think this would be a great addition to my wardrobe, specifically for like work and things, where I can just put it on. It doesn't really mess up your hair, keeps you warm. Can chuck it off on the bus or on the train. So I'm hoping to get this done today. Probably not, but maybe. So I'm following the pattern exactly. I didn't gauge swatch this. Shh, don't tell anyone. It's an accessory. I feel like you don't need a gauge swatch for those. It's got pretty diamond pattern, and yeah. So that is all of my things I've been working on this week. I am going to film like a make 9 and bingo video right now, but because this has been going for 25 minutes already, I feel like I'm gonna split it into 2, post one and then another. So I don't know, I'll probably post the make 9 and the bingo first, just since it's already like late January. So if you haven't watched that yet, please go take a look at it and look at my plans for this year. I think that's it for me this week. I will try and film another video next weekend. I've been feeling very chuffed with myself that I've been relatively consistent with filming since being back. And by relatively, I mean I've posted I think once, but I'm happy with myself. And I have been posting a bit more on TikTok, which I just started the TikTok account. So if anyone wants to go follow me on TikTok, please do. If you stayed till the end of this video, thank you so much for listening to me ramble on and on and on and on about my knitting. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.